Hey guys, this is Chris with Drift HQ. Today we're going to be going over the installation of some aftermarket seats. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove your 4 main bolts for the seat. So you want to move the seat all the way back and you have access to the front 2 bolts. Now with the seat moved forward, you have access to the rear bolts. All 4 of these seat mounting bolts are going to be 16 millimeters or a 5/8 socket. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is disconnect your battery. A lot of these cars have airbags built into the seats. Alright, now after you've disconnected your battery and given your battery proper time to charge down, about 30 minutes, you're ready to disconnect the wiring from your seat. With all your bolts undone, you're able to take the seat and tilt it backwards, like this. And you'll have access to this main plug right here. Now this plug, to remove it, you're going to have to pop a flathead inside here to slide the slider out, and then the plug will just come out. Back to its original position. You can kind of pivot it on this way out. The next portion of what we're doing is we're going to install our seat brackets as well as the side rails that will bolt from our seats onto our seat brackets. Alright, so these are our Sparco seat brackets. These are specific to the left and right side. You can identify them by the sticker. And these are the side bolsters that will bolt right to your seat and then bolt down into place here with the pass-through bolts that are provided here from Sparco. Now we do recommend that you match your seat brackets, side rails, and seats all to the same brand so that everything will match up and line up properly. So these are the new Sparco grid cues. They're new for 2019. They come from a new material that's about 30% lighter than your conventional seat. And they're also FIA certified and everything, so they're ready to compete at the track. So these seat brackets here come with the hardware installed. Based on the height, it's going to determine where you're going to mount these. For the person that's going to be driving this car, it's a little bit shorter, so we're going to move the seat up and further forward to keep him close to the pedals and the steering wheel. Alright, so you're going to put all those bolts in, but you want to leave everything relatively loose right now, just in case you have to make any adjustments. Some people prefer the seat to be reclined back a little bit. Some people like the back to be straight up and down. So right now we have it relatively straight with both of the bolts at the same height here. Alright, now we're going to set our seat bracket into place onto the floorboards. It has the 2 front studs and the 2 rear bolts. We don't need to bolt anything up right now. We're just trying to get a position. So now we can set our seat on top of that and mark our position to make sure that the seat's exactly where we want it before we bolt everything together. So we have our hardware in place now. So what we did is we had our driver sit in position and we mounted our front 2 bolts to figure out how far back. And there's also a lot of side-to-side play on these seats. So you want to center yourself in front of the steering wheel as much as possible and still have access to the bolts. So now that we have the seat position, we can mark on our seat bracket, remove the assembly, tighten everything up. So that way all we have to do is use our 4 bolts to bolt it to the floor. So now we finished installing all the bolts that are going to hold our side rails to the seat bracket. Got everything there tightened up. Once those are in place, you can tighten up your side bolts now that you have your seat positioned proper. Now with these seat brackets, the back right bolt is covered and it makes it very difficult to get in. So the factory bolts are just a little bit too long to sneak between the bracket and the mounting point. So we got this bolt here. This is an M8 by 1.5 and it's about 1 inch long. So that way we can fit that between the seat bracket and you can still get a ratcheting wrench in there to tighten it up. This bolt right here is the one that I was talking about. You see how it's underneath the bracket. So lifting the seat up and dropping that bracket in, you're still able to get your ratcheting wrench into place. And you can tighten that bolt down first. So the fronts are the 2 16mm nuts that we removed before. Those should go on relatively easier because they are studded, so you just get them started. And this bolt back here, you can use the factory bolt again, that's no problem. That one has plenty of access. So now after you've done your installation, make sure you didn't leave anything loose, and also for any kind of tech inspection, you're always going to give your seat a good shake to make sure that all the bolts are tight and there's no wiggle in the base. Now we install the passenger seat. A lot of people like to move their passenger seat a little bit further forward or back, to accommodate the passenger to have some more legroom. But in terms of aesthetics and things like that, it does look better to have both seats lined up in the same position. So you can see both of our backrests line up to the same spot. Now there's a lot of different methods, different ways that you can install the seats. This is just the ways that we found to be most effective. Well, that's it for the seat installation. We're waiting for the harnesses and a few other things to come in before we wrap up this car and get it ready to get it back out onto the street. If you have any questions or anything, you can give us a call or an email at info@drifthq. Thanks for watching.